And joining me now is Oksana Markarova. She's Ukraine's ambassador to the United States. Ambassador, welcome to Meet the Press.
Thank you for having me.
Let me start with the president's remarks yesterday. And I'm curious what you thought of the ad-lib remark when he said, my gosh, you know, Mr. Putin cannot remain in power. How did you receive that?
Well, you know, we heard President Biden loud and clear that U.S. is and will be with Ukraine in this fight. We clearly understand in Ukraine that anyone who's a war criminal, who attacked neighboring country, who's doing all these atrocities together with all the Russians that are involved, definitely cannot stay in power in a civilized world.
Right.
Now it's all up to for all of us to stop Putin while it's still local in Ukraine, because this war is not only about Ukraine, and this brutal aggression that is going on for 33 days now in every city of Ukraine, and especially in cities like Mariupol and north of Kiev and Kharkiv and others. It's the brutal genocide attempt to eliminate or exterminate Ukrainian nation, but also attack on democracy, attack on anyone who wants to live peacefully in their own country.
President Zelensky seemed to say, hey, words are nice, but we need more than just words. What more do you want the West to do? What are the asks? And not fulfilling these asks, what does this mean to Ukraine's ability to fight this war?
Look, let's look at the facts. For 33 days, Ukraine is defending itself and defending Europe from one of the largest countries, one of the most brutal countries, and a nuclear power, an autocratic state. We are already surprised, many, of the fact that we will not surrender, that we are not only motivated to defend our homes, but we will stand our ground and we will defend every inch of our territory. We need tools and we need all kinds of weapons in order to be able to do so. So while we never asked our friends and partners for boots on the ground, I mean, we have the best boots on the ground. Our armed forces...
You're not asking for American soldiers on the ground in Ukraine.
We are not asking for American soldiers, but we need all the support with all the weapons, including the anti-air, including the airplanes, everything to stop this brutal destruction. I mean, if you look at everything that happens again, you know, use of bombs, use of missiles, use of prohibited by Geneva Convention weapons everywhere, level in cities like Kharkiv, Mariupol, and others, we need, unstoppable flow of supplies from everyone who's willing to give it to us in order to win.
Earlier this week, there was an accusation that Russia was using phosphorus bombs. Do you have any more evidence that they've used any chemical or biological weapons against Ukrainians?
Well, we have the confirmed use of phosphorus, we have the confirmed use of cluster and everything else. We are warning everything, and there is no doubt in our mind that there are no red lines for Putin and his cronies. They are shooting at children, at maternity hospitals, at schools, they're destroying theaters. What would stop them?
What is the state of the negotiations with the Russians?
Well, you know, as we said from the beginning, we are ready to negotiate. We are ready to negotiate the humanitarian corridors, which we are trying to get to save people. We are also ready to negotiate always, but we are not ready to surrender. So any negotiation...
What is on the table? I mean, obviously the Russians don't want to walk away with nothing. At the same time, President Zelensky has said, the sovereignty of this country is, you know, we're not surrendering the sovereignty of this country. So what is negotiable, in your view?
Well, it's the negotiations does not mean what Ukraine is ready to surrender. The negotiations mean that, you know, there should be a solution and push and diplomatic pressure to stop Russia. So no, we are not ready to give up our territories. We are not ready to give up our people. We are asking everyone who can put pressure on Putin or who can help us to bring him to the table to stop this war.
Can you imagine ever agreeing to recognize the Donbas region as an independent republic?
Well, there is no independent republics on the territory of Ukraine. Russia attacked us in 2014. Russia illegally occupied Crimea and part of Donetsk and Lugansk. Russia illegally are waging full-fledged war on the independent country now. And the question is bigger than that. Can anyone, is there is a respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity, which is a firm basis for any UN charter or any international organization? So I think we shouldn't ask Ukraine what we are ready to give up in order for Russia to stop this aggression. All of us should be asking each what are we prepared to do to stop it? Because if we lose this, it's very important. If Ukraine loses it, it's not only Ukraine's lost. It means that brutality, oligarchy, and war criminals prevail on our planet.
Let me go back almost to the thing that we started our conversation with, which is, can you live next door to somebody who tried to eliminate you? Like, can you imagine this ending in some form of peace with Putin living next door?
Well, look, we have the experience in Europe with World War II. There was another Putin, or Putin is another Hitler, who tried to do that, attacked sovereign countries, crossed the border, tried to eliminate, and the world, post-World War II, created a new security system, which apparently is collapsing right now. So unless we together stop Putin and create new type of security guarantees, because we are not going to move from that place, and Russia is not.
Let me ask you about our promise to take in 100,000 Ukrainian refugees. Is that enough? Should we be, or more, and can this happen sooner rather than later?
Well, we already see more than 3.6 million refugees in Europe everywhere. It's mostly women and children, and the majority of them want to go back. So the focus for us is sanctions, weapons, so we can stop Putin and start rebuilding Ukraine. But of course, we are grateful for everyone, and I'm glad that the US is joining also, the group of countries that not only are helping us a lot with weapons and sanctions, but also opening the doors for Ukrainians. Now, whether it's going to be enough or not depends on how quickly we all act to stop the war. Let's focus on that. Let's stop the war so that there will not be more refugees.
That's a good way to end it. Ambassador, let's stop this war. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
And I appreciate it.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.